I know there are many styles of pizza dough: thin crust, pan, New York, deep dish, Detroit. But what's the real difference between all of these doughs? This is an amazing question because this takes me actually back to when I started making pizzas at a very young age. And when I started learning about the first dough that I made, which was Chicago style thin crust dough and the famous Chicago stuffed pizza deep dish dough, that was really all I knew from a very young age. And as I continued to explore all of the different styles, I started to learn that mainly our difference in all of these different styles was the amount of water that went into each dough, maybe the adjustment of salt, but salt was pretty much around the same ballpark for each style of dough. The amount of oil or fat inside of each dough. I say fat because each type of oil is different for the different styles. And when I started making pizzas in Chicago, the original Chicago dough started out with lard inside of it. And then from lard, it kind of progressed, and we saw things like shortening and corn oil and canola and olive oil. And it seems like over the years, the different types of fats did change a little bit. But to me, my favorite, especially for that thin crust cracker or tavern style in Chicago, is always been the lard inside of that dough. My second favorite is corn oil, and corn oil is really traditional to our styles. When you look at New York pizza dough or the different pan doughs or Detroit style or Sicilian or grandma, the dough is really about the same. The flour types change a little bit, but we're talking about generally flour types that are somewhere around the range of about 11.5% protein to maybe about 13% protein. We recently, we're outside, there's natural things happening over here. Over the years, we started to see flour improvements and things like the strength of the flour in all of these different styles changed as well. So as we started to explore how to make better New York pizza dough, we found that New York pizza dough, we wanted to add more water to it, using things like high gluten flour, which now were above, let's say, 13%. We were getting into the 14% range and higher. All of a sudden, these different flours were able to absorb more water, and that more absorption of water gave us a crispier crust, because at the end of the day, water inside of the oven turns to steam and disappears. So all that's left is just that beautiful gluten structure. So the answer in a short, maybe medium way, I would say that the improvements or the differences between the styles are going to be the amount of water in the dough, maybe the kind of flour that you're using, and then the kind of fat that's used inside and the percentage of fat inside of those doughs.